In this episode of Food Service Runner, this video is titled What 1 Week of Working in a Child Daycare as a Cook Was Like. Hopefully that will work. So anyways, jumping along right into this, I'm going to share with you what my job consisted of in one day, and then I'll talk to you about what happened at the end of the week. So we'll just use one day of work. So I come in at 7:30. The kids have a 4-week menu for what they're going to eat: breakfast, lunch, and then a PM snack. So the kids have to have their food all out by 8:30 for breakfast. Their next meal has to be all out to everybody by 12:30, and the PM snack has to be out by 2:30 to everybody. And those have to be done in 30-minute increments. So that being said, that's how the meal went. So let's talk about a breakfast. Okay, so we'll say a breakfast for, say, today, right? Would be cheese sticks, or cheese bread. So you need to make cheese bread for basically 12 classrooms consisting of 20 kids. Each classroom has to get 20 breadsticks in it with cheese on it. So you're going to have to heat up cheese. We all know cheese doesn't take that long to melt. You have to put cheese on the bread and then put it on a baking sheet pan, put it in the oven, and then cook them. Then take them out, cut them in halves, bag them in Ziploc bags, and then make sure they're ready to go out. Now, you have some kids that might be allergic to cheese, so you have to substitute that cheese for something else that kid can eat. And then once you have breakfast all done, then you have to start having everything ready by 12 o'clock. So you have to make 20 sandwiches for every classroom again, with ham and cheese on it, or turkey and cheese on it. And you have to make fruit, and you have to make a vegetable. Then you have to substitute some kids who are allergic to that vegetable and that fruit that they might be getting for the day. So you have to go through the list of all those kids that are allergic to certain fruits, certain vegetables, and then make sure you have them good too. And this all has to be done before 12 o'clock. And then you have to make sure they have their drink for all those classrooms as well, and label them. And then you have to have your religious meals for kids that may have a religious diet, and then those who may be vegans or something like that, and have all that done. Now that sounds like it's fast to do when you hear me saying it. So you figure there's about 13 classrooms. You may even say 12 classrooms. And each classroom has 20 kids in it. You have to make that many sandwiches for that many kids. And then you have to make the fruit, and you have to make the vegetables, and keep all that stuff cold, and then reheat it up, because the vegetables have to be hot when they come out for all the kids. And then you have to heat up your vegan food, and so that's all good. You get that done hopefully in time, and then by about 1 o'clock you gotta go on a break. Hopefully you've picked up all of the dishes from the ones that ate before 12:30, and the older kids are the ones that eat about 12:30. And so you should just pick up their food when you come back at 1 o'clock after your break in 30 minutes from 1 o'clock. So at 1:30 you come back, and then you got to have the PM snack stuff ready for it to go out to all them kids, so that by 2:30 everybody's fed their PM snack. Then you have to wash all of the dishes. Now, here's the thing about the real scenario of how that job was supposed to really work. Now, since when I started, the dish machine didn't have hot water because the hot water heater was broken, so they're going to have it replaced. So they're trying to use less dishes. They're technically supposed to have, every classroom is supposed to have 20 trays, or 20 plates, for one plate for every kid in the classroom to eat on, 20 spoons, one spoon for every kid to eat with, and then 20 cups for every kid to drink out of. Each kid will be able to drink out of a cup. So you figure you got about 12 classes, right, that are going to need 20 of these, all for them to eat from. And your stuff that the food's going to go out on. So if you have to use vegetables, you have to get 2 vegetables for each classroom, and then 2 of whatever else they were going to get, was the way it's supposed to be, and 2 fruits for every classroom. And then those all go in their own little bowls that have to be washed, dried, and put away. How they expect you to do that is beyond me, because they don't want you to hand dry the stuff when it's wet. They want you to let it stay up there and dry, and you can't really put it away then. You have not much work, not much space to put racks at. You have this one shelf that has like their little trays. You know, when you go, I don't know if many of you have been to like a restaurant, like maybe fast food place like Burger King. When you eat inside, they give you like a plastic tray to put your food on, and then you carry it over to wherever you're gonna sit at. Well, that's a similar thing that they have for these kids, and it's up on a rack where you would put your racks for like your cups and bowls and all that stuff, because you put them in a dish machine, and it's like a cup rack. You can only do 1 cup rack at a time and 1 dish at a time. So it's like you gotta wait for it to clean it, and when it does, you push it to the side, and then you put more stuff on another rack and then put it in the machine, wait for it to be done, and etc. It can't do more than 1 rack at a time, which is crazy for a dish machine. That's just silly for that. So it's a slow process. Okay, you have to have that all washed and done and the kitchen cleaned by 4 o'clock. So you have all that stuff to clean by yourself with food left over in it, and take the trash out, which is in the front of the building, I might add. The kitchen's in the back. You gotta walk maybe about, I don't even know, all the way to the front of the building, and then walk all the way back to the kitchen, and then get the mop the floors and whatever else needs to be cleaned off, and then take the mop bucket back, dump it out, and then you're good. You know, obviously sweep the floor too, and yeah. And I guess you're supposed to do, like, your job is also supposed to be doing orders for like stuff eventually, and doing a checklist and all that stuff too for 1 person. So I might have left some key important things out in this video, but I'm gonna try to share it real fast. So let me give you an example of what happened. I made a taco salad, which, might I add, they don't really follow the recipe for this company I worked for, which at my other jobs I worked at, it was repercussions for missing ingredients in the food. If it was missing, the company got fined. That's why it's different when you come from an environment and you see a recipe, you're like, oh, okay, they got a recipe, we're gonna follow this. Newsflash, we're not. We don't. This recipe is broken. So there's certain things that you're not going to put into the recipe. So there was only like 3 things that I was technically supposed to put in this recipe that I ended up putting in there, right? Because they didn't have onions and they don't have tomato sauce or biscuit mix or cornmeal or milk or eggs to put into that taco thing, which was really weird. So the only things I got put into it was the meat, the refried beans, and the taco seasoning. And obviously, you cook the meat first, then you add the beans on it, is what they wanted me to do. And then I added taco seasoning on it, mix it all up, made sure I tasted it. It was really good. And ironically, I portioned it all out, everything good, give it all out to the kids. And apparently these kids are still hungry. I'm thinking to myself, not my fault. That's not my fault. That's every classroom ate all their food. When I came and picked up all the trays, all the bowls were empty. It's my fault. Dude, I don't do the ordering here. I'm not the one who decides how much food gets pulled out. So the person who took that meat out was not me. Okay? You're the ones that want to run the show, so that's what I assume you want to use. You want to use that much meat, that's how much meat we're going to use. So we ran out of food. Kids are still hungry. The director goes into a panic mode and doesn't know what to do. Long story short, she starts opening up nuggets to feed these kids with, and we have nuggets left over that are already cooked. It's her show. She can do whatever she wants. More power to her, because it's her company that she runs. Give me a second, I got a cough. But anyways, so it makes me seem like I was the fault for this, right? So anyways, that's what I'm saying. Like you want somebody to work food service, right? Or as a cook for you, and you want them to meet your expectations when you can't even as a company help your own cookout who comes there and has a recipe that you're not even following. This is your company and you're telling your cook that it's your fault when you're giving him a recipe that is broken. And you're not really, as far as I'm concerned, teaching them how you want the show run. You know what I mean? Key important things. This being said, I'm going to leave it at that, okay? And say that my last day working in this daycare, I cleaned the kitchen really good, cleaned the refrigerator out because that was really annoying because it looked dirty in the refrigerator. I even shined up the refrigerator and the freezer boxes with some stainless steel cleaner to make it look pretty. You get all the smears off of it and stuff. Everything that was stainless steel, I sprayed with that spray and shined it up. Any place that didn't have an area for food, wiped out the inside of the microwave, get the food out of it that was left in there, wiped that all down the front and everything, made it look all nice and clean in there. So it was all nice and clean and all that good stuff before I left because I was like, okay, I'm going to come back on Monday. We're going to do this stuff. We're going to be great. So, give me a second. So, I head to the front to punch out for the day. And one of the directors is like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah. The kitchen's good. Cleaned everything up. Got the refrigerator shined up. Floor is all clean. Everything in there is all good to go. And she goes, you wanna... I don't know what she said to the other lady, but the one lady was kind of hesitant at first, but they're like, okay. And they said, want to go over to the other office, we want to talk to you. And I was like, okay. I already knew what this meant right here, that I'm not living up to their expectation. So I go in there, they both sit there, and the one lady looks at me and she says, well, look, we know that we feel this isn't a good fit for you, and I think you feel the same way. So we appreciate you um, coming here, but we're just worried that you're not going to be able to keep up with what we need you to be able to do. The other lady's like, we're not too worried about the cooking part, we're just more worried about the cleaning part when it comes to getting the dishes done, because we have an inspection that's coming, and we're going to be having more dishes that are going to have to be done, and we're just more worried about that not getting done in time and us not having that. And I'm thinking to myself, okay. I said to them, I said, well, good luck. I appreciate y'all giving me the opportunity to work here. It's disappointing to hear that I'm not meeting your expectation. But it was a great opportunity to work here. But I will say that I do wish you all the best of luck finding somebody who's going to be able to work here and meet your expectation with the type of background that they're going to have to pass in order to work here, and for the pay. And I told them, I said, an issue that I had was with their recipe, and I told them, I said, see, I have an issue with the recipe, and that is that it's throwing me off, because you have certain things that are on the recipe that I'm not putting into the food, and other jobs I've worked at, we have serious repercussions for not adding those ingredients into that food, and then you're not following your recipe. And then I get that this is a so-called franchise, but anybody who comes here working trying to follow this recipe is going to be having the same problems that I'm having with it, especially if they're going to try to do the recipe like it says on the paper. And they said they appreciate my concerns with that, and they're going to use that as a way to improve, so that that's not a problem. And I basically said to them, well, I wish whoever the best of luck doing that. And again, I appreciate the opportunity to be able to work here with y'all. And then they told me that if I wanted to, I could use them as a reference after only working with them for 5 days, technically. By the way, it cost me $80 to get a background check done on me so that I could work around kids. Amazing kids, I might add. These kids were great kids. I thought they'd be more savage on me when it comes to like talking to me in like a insult or something like that. But no, a lot of these kids were really nice and friendly. And ironically, it was crazy because like one of the funniest things that made me laugh the most was like how these kids would always be like, hi, mister, hi. And some of the comments that they would make whenever I'd come in for those couple times that I was able to like deliver the food to their classroom and stuff. It was just amazing to work around the kids and stuff, to be able to finally be in a different scenery, because like used to working in a hostile environment with guys that are like not appreciative of food at all. And then you get around kids that are like really, excited and full of life and happiness and joy. And it's like, this is what I was like excited for, is to be around like kids, because they're always happy and grateful. And you have the adults that are just like, but it's a different scenery, but it was still great. And it'll be some great moments that I got to be able to have by being able to see that I brought maybe some joy to some of those kids by just making food for them and being nice and saying hi to them. I don't know. It was cool to be around some of them, because the energy is just amazing when you're around kids, because they're just full of happiness and stuff. So anyways, though, moral story is a new chapter starts. I don't know where I'm going from here, but it will be food service, hopefully related. And if not, elsewhere. That's it for this episode. I'll see you all hopefully in another episode.